Good evening. Wherever you are right now, let your body settle into whatever it is resting on. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Let your jaw unclench. You do not need to do anything tonight. You do not need to remember everything you hear. You can simply lie here in the dark and let these words wash over you slowly. Tonight, we are going to think about something that touches every financial decision you will ever make. Something that sounds a little intimidating at first, but is really quite peaceful when you sit with it. Tonight, we are going to think about risk and reward. Not in a fearful way, not in a way that asks you to do anything, or decide anything, or change anything before you sleep. Just slowly, gently together. So breathe out, let the day go. We have nowhere to be but here. There is a principle that runs through all of nature and all of finance, and really through most of life. The principle is this: the things that are safe and certain tend to grow slowly, and the things that can grow quickly ask you, in return, to accept some uncertainty. That is it. That is the whole idea. Everything else tonight is just a slow, gentle turning of that one truth. Now, when we talk about risk in the world of money, we are really talking about the chance that something does not go exactly as you hoped. The chance that the number you see today is not the same number you see tomorrow. The chance that you plant a seed and it grows differently than you imagined. And reward is simply what you receive in return for accepting that chance. The two are not separate things. They are partners. They travel together always. When someone offers you a very safe place to keep your money, a place where nothing will change, nothing will swing, nothing will surprise you, they are also quietly offering you a smaller reward, because there is no uncertainty to be paid for. There is no chance being taken. And when something promises a much larger reward, it is asking you to accept a larger uncertainty, a wider range of what might happen, a longer list of possible tomorrows. This is not anyone's choice or design. It is simply how the world works. And tonight, slowly, that is what we are going to understand. Imagine two rivers. One river runs through flat, wide open land. It is calm. The surface is still. You can see the bottom, a child could wade into it without fear. The other river runs through steep mountain terrain. It moves faster. It has turns you cannot see around. There are rocks and drops and sections where the current pulls hard. Now imagine you need to cross from one side to the other. The calm river is easy. Almost anyone will cross it. Almost no one hesitates. The mountain river is harder. You need confidence. You need a good reason. You need to feel the reward on the other side is worth the crossing. This is why safer things grow slower. When something carries no risk, when there is no uncertainty, no chance of loss, then almost everyone wants it. And when many people want the same thing, the price of access to it rises, and the return it offers falls. You have probably heard the phrase, "There is no free lunch." That is what it means, quietly. If the reward were very large and the risk were very small, everyone would rush toward it until the rush itself eroded the large reward down to something smaller. So the calm river offers a modest crossing, reliable, steady. You get where you are going, but not fast. And the mountain river, the one that frightens some people away, offers something more for those willing to make the crossing. Neither river is wrong. They are just different. The question is not which river is better. The question is which river is right for you right now. Let us sit with the other side of this for a moment. Higher returns, more growth, more potential. What do they actually ask of you? They ask you to accept swings. Swings are not the same as losses, though they can feel that way. A swing is when the value of something goes up and then comes down and then perhaps goes up again. The path is not a smooth line. It is more like a hiking trail that climbs and dips before reaching higher ground. And here is the thing about swings that is important to understand gently. Lying here in the dark tonight, a swing is only a problem if you must sell when the path is low. If you plant something with the intention of leaving it for many years, then the dips along the way are mostly noise. They are the weather of the journey. You do not abandon a long hike because it rains on the third day. But if you plant something and you might need the harvest next spring, then a swing matters very much. Because the weather of next spring is uncertain, and you might need to pull the harvest at the worst moment. This is why understanding your own situation is so important before you accept any level of swing. Not because swings are evil. They are not. They are simply the natural texture of growth. A tree does not grow in a straight upward line. It grows in a season, and then winter comes, and then it grows again. And the years of winter are not failure. They are simply part of how trees become tall. Higher returns are asking you to experience winters. They are asking you to hold through the cold. And for those who can hold, who have the time and the steadiness to hold, the reward on the far side of many winters can be generous. But holding through a winter requires something specific from you. It requires that you do not need the harvest before spring. Time is one of the most underestimated things in personal finance. Not clever timing, not knowing when to buy and when to sell, not predicting what will happen next. Just time itself, the simple, patient passage of years. Here is what time does to risk. When you have a very long horizon in front of you, many years, even many decades, the swings that seemed frightening when you looked at them day by day begin to look smaller over the whole arc. Imagine watching a single wave crash on a shore. It looks powerful. It looks final. It sweeps over the sand and pulls back, and you think, that is what the sea is. But now imagine sitting on a cliff and watching the same sea for an entire year, through summer and winter, through storm and calm, and you begin to see that the shore has not moved, that the sea has not won and lost, that the churning was just the surface, not the story. That is what time does to investment swings. It turns the alarming waves into surface motion. It reveals the deeper, calmer drift underneath. When your time horizon is very long, you can afford to accept more uncertainty. Not because uncertainty is gone. It is still there, but because you have enough time for the story to finish before you need to read it. And when your time horizon is very short, when you need money within a year or two, you cannot wait for the story to finish. You must read it now, and that changes everything. This is why the advice about risk is never one size. It cannot be. A young person with 40 years ahead of them lives in a different financial world than someone who will retire in 5 years. Not because one is better or more deserving, because one has more time to let the story unfold. And time, beautifully, is something that accumulates quietly while you sleep, while you rest, while you live your life. You do not need to do anything to earn more of it tonight. You may have heard the word volatility. It sounds a little clinical, a little cold, but it is simply a measure of how much something swings. Low volatility means a slow, steady path. The numbers change slowly. The texture is smooth. High volatility means a path that jumps and dips more dramatically. The numbers change faster and by more. The texture is rougher. And here is the gentle truth about volatility. It is not inherently dangerous. It is simply descriptive. A calm mountain lake has low volatility. A mountain river in spring has high volatility. Both are water. Both can nourish you. The question is what you need the water for and when. If you need to drink from the lake today, the calm surface is exactly right. If you are a farmer who needs the river to flood the fields every spring, then the high volatility of spring meltwater is not a problem. It is the plan. When people feel afraid of volatility, what they are usually feeling is something more specific. They are afraid of being caught needing something when its value is low. And that fear is worth listening to. Not because volatility is bad, but because it is pointing you towards something real, something about your timeline, your needs, your ability to wait. If you feel afraid when prices swing, your feelings are telling you something worth knowing. Maybe your time horizon is shorter than you thought. Maybe you have more money in uncertain places than lets you sleep well. Maybe you simply need more information, and the fear is just uncertainty looking for somewhere to rest. All of that is useful. All of that is worth sitting with quietly, not in panic, but in honest reflection. Tonight, though, you can set it down. Let us think together about time horizons. Slowly, no rush. A time horizon is simply, when do you need this money? Some money you need soon, next month, next year, for rent, for food, for a trip you have planned. That money has a very short horizon. Some money you might need in 3 to 5 years. For a down payment on a home, perhaps. For something large and meaningful, but not immediate. that money has a medium horizon, and some money may be a smaller portion of what you have. You truly will not need for a decade or 2 decades or more. That money has a very long horizon. The beautiful thing about thinking this way is that it lets you sort. Not everything has to carry the same risk. Not everything has to live on the calm river or the mountain river. The money you need next year belongs on the calm river, almost certainly. Its job is to be there when you reach for it, not to grow dramatically, just to be there. The money you will not need for 20 years can tolerate more weathering. It has time to experience winters. It can ride the swings with patience because there is enough road ahead of it to find higher ground. And the money in between, somewhere between those two rivers, not the calmest, not the roughest, matched to its purpose. This idea, matching the risk of your money to the timeline of your needs, is one of the most genuinely useful frameworks in all of personal finance. It is not complicated. It does not require charts or formulas. It simply asks, when do I need this? And then it suggests, let that question guide how much uncertainty this particular money can hold. You do not have to figure all of this out tonight. But perhaps, somewhere in the quiet of sleep, the shape of it will settle a little more clearly. Here is something that almost no textbook says, but that is deeply true. Your emotional comfort with risk is real information, not a weakness, not something to overcome. Real, meaningful information about what level of uncertainty is right for you. There is a phrase sometimes used, "Can you sleep at night?" It sounds casual, but it is pointing at something profound. If the level of uncertainty in your financial life is making it hard to rest, that is a signal. It is your mind telling you that the uncertainty is larger than your comfort can hold. And discomfort that is large enough to disrupt sleep has costs. It costs you rest, clarity, energy, and often, ironically, good financial judgment. Because anxious minds make worse decisions. Conversely, if your money is so cautiously arranged that you feel no uncertainty at all, but you also feel no progress, no sense that anything is working for you, that is also information. It may be saying that you are paying too high a price in foregone growth for a level of safety you do not actually need. The goal is not maximum comfort. The goal is the right level of uncertainty for your situation. The level that lets you rest and still lets your money do meaningful work over time. This is deeply personal. There is no universal answer. Some people can watch the value of something drop significantly and feel nothing. Not because they are reckless, because they understand the long game and they have time to play it. Other people feel deeply unsettled by even small swings. That is not a character flaw. It is simply data about what kind of financial arrangement will let them live well. Neither is wrong. The person who is disturbed by swings is not weaker than the person who is not. They may simply have different circumstances, different needs, different histories with money. And both deserve a financial life calibrated to who they actually are, not to some theoretical ideal of a perfectly rational investor with no feelings and infinite patience. You are a person. Your feelings matter. Your sleep matters. Let your sleep quality be part of how you think about risk. Not the only thing, but a real thing. Let us rest here for a moment on something that might be the gentlest and most useful idea of the evening. The goal is not zero risk. This is worth saying slowly because it runs against a natural instinct. When something feels uncertain, the impulse is to want to remove the uncertainty entirely, to find the safe place, the guaranteed thing, the shore where no waves reach. But in finance, zero risk has a cost that is easy to overlook. The cost is time. The cost is growth that does not happen. The cost is the difference over many years between money that worked gently on your behalf and money that simply sat. Imagine you fill a jar with coins and you put the jar on a shelf. It is perfectly safe. Nothing uncertain happens to it. Every coin you put in is still there when you look. But time passes, and prices rise a little, and the jar of coins, untouched, buys a little less each year than it did before. Not dramatically, slowly, gently, but steadily. The safety of the jar was real, but it was not free. Now imagine a different jar, one that you placed in a slightly uncertain space, not reckless, not forgotten, but tended with patience. And over many years, new coins appeared alongside the ones you placed, because the uncertainty you accepted paid you for accepting it. The goal is to find the jar, or rather, the arrangement of jars, that takes just enough uncertainty to earn meaningful growth over time, without taking so much uncertainty that you cannot sleep, or that you expose money you might need soon. The right amount of risk is not zero. The right amount of risk is the amount that lets your money work and lets you rest. And that amount is different for every person, for every season of life, for every set of goals and timelines and feelings. It is not a number someone else can hand you. It is something you arrive at slowly, through honest reflection on who you are, what you have, and what you need. And you do not have to arrive at it tonight. Tonight, you can simply carry the idea, not zero risk, the right amount. One more gentle thing before we begin to close. The right amount of risk for you is not fixed forever. You are not the same person at 40 that you were at 20. Not the same at 60 that you were at 40. Your goals change. Your timeline shifts. The things you need the money for come and go. And so, naturally, the level of uncertainty that is right for you changes too. A younger version of you, perhaps with decades of earning and saving ahead, perhaps without large immediate needs, might have a financial life that can absorb considerable swings. Not because young people are fearless, but because they have time. Time is a kind of cushion against volatility. It absorbs the shocks. And as the years pass and the timeline shortens, the arrangement naturally shifts. The balance tilts a little toward calmer waters, not because growth stops mattering, but because preservation begins to matter more alongside it. This is not dramatic. It is not a cliff edge change. It is more like the shifting of seasons. Gradual, expected, natural. And it means that every few years, it is worth sitting quietly with your financial life and asking, has anything changed? Is the level of uncertainty I am holding still appropriate for where I am now? Not with anxiety, not with urgency, just with the calm, gentle curiosity of a gardener checking the plants in autumn to see if anything needs attention before winter. You do not need to do this tonight, but the idea is worth holding The right amount of risk is not only personal, it is also moving. It changes with you. And that is fine. That is expected. That is simply what it means to be a living person with a financial life. We are almost done, and you are probably very close to the edge of sleep now. Let me leave you with just a few gentle things to carry. Risk and reward travel together. You cannot truly separate them. Where you find great safety, you find modest growth. Where you find greater growth, you accept greater uncertainty. Both are real. Neither is wrong. Time is one of the most powerful tools you have. Not timing time, the patient passage of years. Given enough of it, many swings become small. Many winters become spring. Your time horizon matters more than almost anything else. When do you need this particular money? Let that question guide how much uncertainty it carries. Your sleep matters. Your comfort with uncertainty is real information about what arrangement is right for you. Listen to it without judgment. It is not weakness. It is wisdom. And finally, the goal is not zero risk. The goal is the right amount. Just enough uncertainty to let your money grow meaningfully. Just enough safety to let you rest. That is it. That is the whole thing. And you do not have to solve anything tonight. You do not have to decide anything, or change anything, or act on anything. You can simply let these ideas settle into the quiet of sleep, like leaves falling slowly onto still water. The room is quiet. The day is done. You have listened well. There is nothing left to do tonight but breathe. Let your body grow heavy. Let your thoughts slow. Let the ideas from this evening drift loosely without needing to hold them. You are not behind. You are not making a mistake by resting. The world will still be there when you wake. Your financial life will still be there. The questions will still be there, patient and unhurried. And you will meet them with a clearer mind for having rested. Risk and reward, swings and time, the right amount, not zero, the season of your life and what it asks. These are not urgent problems to be solved. They are gentle ideas to be lived with slowly, over time. You have time. You have more time than tonight requires. So let yourself go now, fully into the quiet. The sea outside does whatever it does. The stars are overhead. The night is soft. Sleep well. You are exactly where you need to be.